What's happening, y'all? This is Todd Wilson with another episode of Elevate Your Game. Today we have NBA player, hails from, North Hollywood, Campbell Hall for high school, UCLA, so local to the LA area. Now with the Houston Rockets, Aaron Holiday.
What's good?
What's going on, man? Thank you for blessing us here.
Appreciate it.
We tried to give the people and bless them with the basketball information about the culture. We start the show off with the wall of hoop movies.
Yeah.
All the hoop movies. Your favorite hoop movie of all time and why? And if it's not up there, let me know as well.
There's a lot of good movies up there, but I'll probably have to go with The Rebound as my favorite hoop movie. It's probably the one I watch the most often, and I don't know, it's hilarious to me. I always get a good laugh out of it. So.
Martin Lawrence's comedy, for one.
Yeah.
Man, I'm sleeping on it. Okay, it's not even on the wall. We've been talking about now. I actually have to get up there, especially because Aaron's talking about it now.
Sir.
And it's crazy. I did recently watch that. There's a hoop movie. It's kind of like Rebound. It's a newer one. They make it a comedy movie where they're talking about kids with special needs.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I just watched it on the airplane. But It's that same concept of, just kind of a more free-flowing, fun movie.
Yeah.
But at the same time, kids who love hoop at the end of the day and where it can take you. And Martin Lawrence coming down from coaching the big leagues to, coaching kids. So always interested when you're with Martin Lawrence. So. Bet we're gonna hop right into it, man. When did you fall in love with basketball?
I want to say probably, I don't really remember exactly when, but I'll say probably around 2 or 3. Obviously, my parents, they played basketball. My entire family did, but I think it started with them. So them getting me into basketball early, obviously watching my brothers and sister play, just had a free flow into it. Just watching them and obviously having the blueprint of making it into this NBA world, or even just at the time high school basketball world. They showed me the way, and I obviously love them for that.
Yeah, no, that's dope. I think that's the youngest I've ever heard somebody fall in love with the game that early, but it makes sense being in a hoop family like that. Was that mandatory from your parents that you guys played hoop, or
no?
How does that work exactly?
No, it wasn't. So there would be days where I go to the gym and my dad would be like, "Okay, if you don't want to work out, we don't have to. We go home." So it wasn't really forced upon us. They kind of just allowed us. We really played like every sport. I know I played baseball, basketball, football. You get outside and play like soccer and hockey and volleyball and all that, but they allowed you to really choose which game you wanted to play and which one you loved the most and liked the most, and that's what we stuck with.
No, that's awesome. I think parents can take example from that. When did you stop playing other sports?
I remember I played baseball my freshman year of high school.
Okay.
I think that was the last time I played another sport.
No, I think that's awesome to see that you played other sports. I think it's probably helped you in ways on the basketball court.
For sure.
And then just being able to have fun and be a kid and still be committed to something. Because people now overplay a lot and all that. And you're in a hoop family where, there could be some undue pressure just because you're seeing the family reach a level of success.
Yeah.
How did you manage that, having 2 older brothers to come after and a sister who could hoop as well?
It was tough at first. Just different things you hear here and there. Even playing in high school with like certain refs used to say or do just because of who my brothers were. You had to get over that, and obviously always being Drew's little brother. You learn to accept it. I mean, it's not bad. It's not like a shot at you, even though they could be trying to take a shot at you. But I didn't see it as a shot at me. That's a blessing to be able to be known as somebody's little brother who's obviously really good at basketball. So I just took it as that, and eventually I learned I am who I am. I'm not my brothers, I'm not my sister, so I'm gonna just be me and just try to make the best of it.
Oh, that's awesome. And then through basketball, coming up, you played AAU. What age did you start playing AAU? What was that experience like?
Maybe elementary school. Travel ball, I think my first team was California Elite. I think Tank coached me. With California Elite, but it was fun. You just out there hooping, having fun with your friends. I remember vividly how different my jump shot was then. It was still cash, but I remember it was like I shot it from like in my stomach, like, but it was still going in. So I had to change that obviously to move up levels. But I remember that time was just enjoying just basketball and having fun with your friends.
Who were before you got to high school and middle school? Did you go to like national tournaments and everything playing with them, or was it more localized?
I went to, I think they were the first team I went. Actually traveled to Orlando, the big tournament.
Yeah, the AAU Nationals.
Disney, I think.
Yep, they played at Disney. Who'd you do you remember any of the players that you played then?
No, I don't.
I don't remember it all. Okay, I was like, sometimes you run into. I remember going down there. I was a senior in high school. I was with my homeboy. His dad coached. What's it called? Atlanta, one of the Atlanta Elite something. I don't know. One of those Atlanta teams, and we were watching. It was who was on this team? It was the Miller, the whatever, the Otis Miller. You know, what's the why can't I forget this dude's name? The rapper. Him.
Yeah. I know you're talking about.
And he had him, DeMar, on the same team, playing against a team from Atlanta who had Hollis Thompson.
That's a good matchup.
Man, no, it was crazy. Their point guard, they had another point guard who was a Division I kid, Alfaru Amino. Yeah. So they had like it was like NBA players watching them when they were in 8th grade.
That's wild.
No, it's pretty crazy how all that comes full circle. You end up seeing those dudes later in life.
For sure.
So going to, all right, here, let me ask this. I want to back it up a little bit. When did working out start for you when, with basketball, when there was actual scheduled thing, or what was that like?
I mean, for me, obviously having 2 brothers and a sister who played, it was never scheduled. I just went to the gym with them. And like I'm trying to remember like when I actually started, but for the most part, I know I was in the gym like all the time.
Yeah.
Like my cousin James, who I hung out with a lot when I was little, he'll say, all you want to do is go to the gym. Like for me, I didn't see it that way. I thought I was playing outside and stuff more often than not, but I guess all I want to do is go to the gym. So it wasn't like a scheduled thing, but having brothers and a sister playing and a dad obviously pushing us to be great, I was in there a lot.
What was that relationship like with your dad and you guys as siblings being in the gym? Because, know Sean, been around him forever, man. He's a very quiet and simple man, and but you can tell that he instilled something in you guys all to have the work ethic, to what it takes to be, one of the few. Yeah. What was that relationship like in the gym? Working out with him.
I mean, I feel like nobody could push you as hard as your dad or like your parents. So obviously, he got on us a lot. He's not that quiet as people may think, but if you're around him more, you'll figure that out. But he got on us a lot, obviously corrected us a lot. Styles were a little different back then than they are now, but he did a good job of teaching us just how to play basketball and doing it the right way. I mean, I feel like that kind of stays the same throughout basketball. Looking for your teammates, shooting open shots, getting to the paint, driving kick, and playing defense. So. Yeah, he just was able to install confidence. My mom as well, install confidence in us and just have us feel like we can go out there and do anything.
Yeah, man, that's how Aaron played. I just remember watching you. I met you your sophomore year. I coached Aaron for a year as an assistant coach at Campbell Hall.
A long time ago.
Man, right? It's crazy. Man. Time flies. That's 10 years ago, something like that. It's been a minute. So, man, talk about relentless, man. The way you approach the game is like, nope, you only see you in the basket. Yeah. And, that was when you were a sophomore. I think then you were just learning, you were understanding how to share the ball with your teammates and all that. Well, you couldn't be stopped, though, at the same time. What do you credit that mindset to? Just, I'm going to get my buckets.
Yeah, probably just from being younger and playing with my older siblings. They're both, all 3 of them were bigger than me at one point, so I had to go against them and consistently go at them. Obviously, they're blocking my shots and getting stops and bumping me out the way, but I couldn't stop. I just had to keep going, so I probably credit it to that.
What made you keep going? What did your parents instill in you, or your brothers in those sessions, like? For the kids out there who are going through the same thing, sometimes it's tough to push through those moments of failure, constant failure when you're getting beat up. In the basketball term, beat up, not physically, but, if you were to give them, 2 or 3 words of advice, what would that be during those times?
Man, just to stay with it. me growing up, obviously with my brothers and my sister, they beat on me a lot, not obviously, but on the court, and just continue to be relentless, keep going at them. I mean, failure in basketball, I don't think it's considered failure just because you get blocked or things aren't going your way. It's just a learning time to learn, a lesson to learn, and a stepping stool to get better and just become that next, get to that next level that you need to be at. So I don't think it's failure. Just continue to work, continue to obviously go and attack this like, I don't want to say like no other because it's just basketball, but just continue to attack it. Don't stop. I mean, eventually you're going to get to where you want to be, and just because you have a couple bumps and bruises doesn't mean like that's the end. Just keep on pushing through.
Man, that's awesome, man. Thank you for that. That's it's a mindset for life, you know. Like you said, it's not just basketball, because we go through a lot, and you know, you get hit, and you gotta just persevere through it.
Keep going, yeah.
No, I love how basketball teaches that, and that's what we try to do with the young ones. It's like, hey, just stay with it. You're not gonna be as good as the person next to you, but one day you might pass them. But it doesn't matter. What matters is the staying with it and putting that effort, especially if you love it, the game. Like, you know, we love the game. So moving into high school, okay, so Campbell Hall, you had some shoes to fill, right? Your brothers came there, kind of wrecked shop, 3 state championships and all these things. And they were graduated by the time you got there. Entering high school, what was your mindset? What was the goals going into high school?
Honestly, going into high school, I just wanted to have fun. I didn't really, like, I cared about winning a championship or getting on a banner, but like, it wasn't my main goal. It was just to have fun and get better, prepare for college, and obviously get to the D1 school that I wanted to. But I mean, just my mindset was just to enjoy school, honestly.
Yeah, and you could tell, man, your freshman year, dropped 50 in a game, 50 piece, 52 was it? What, did you plan that, or what happened?
No, I never planned any of that, but I mean, just being resilient, obviously finding something that was working and just kept going at it. I think I shot a lot of free throws, but being able to make shots, get layups and shoot a lot of free throws, just found something that was working and just kept at it.
What is your biggest, like, in high school, what was the most memorable moment on the court for you?
My most memorable moment probably was our game against Viewpoint. I think we were down. I was playing terrible. I probably had like 2 points maybe at halftime, somewhere around there. But we ended up
your senior year?
It's either my junior or senior year.
Okay.
We ended up coming back. I ended up having like 20 points in the second half, and we ended up winning. And that's probably my most memorable like moment.
What, just overcoming the hump and?
Yeah, because I was playing terrible. It was bad. Couldn't make a shot. I was just making like dumb mistakes, but just being able to overcome it, you know, because times like that in basketball, we pretty much get in our own head and become self-conscious and like, oh my goodness, I'm not playing well, but being able to get over that and settle myself back down and continue to fight. I felt like that was a step forward, you know, moving on to college and everything. I need those moments just to be all right in college and pass that.
Absolutely. And so you had many different teams kind of when you were at Campbell Hall, right? Every year it kind of seemed to shift. People leaving, you stay consistent, stay with it.
Yeah.
And, you know, you had to learn to be a better teammate through that time because you were such a bucket. It's easy for you to get buckets, but understanding the team concept, what helped you understand that you had to get others involved, and how did you do that?
My parents did a great job of instilling that in me early. I obviously didn't listen too much my first couple of years, but eventually, like, it's just the game of basketball. Like, you want your teammates to be happy and have fun playing with you. Obviously, you're the main guy and you're going to get your shots when you get them. So getting off the ball early or just finding different ways to get your guys involved, keep them happy and make the game more enjoyable. And, I mean, now, even in being in the NBA, like, I really feel like that's the way I need to play basketball. Even though I'm out there for 15, 20 minutes a game, if that, I still feel like I could get my guys the ball and make them, you know, enjoy this, because not many people make it obviously to this level, and it's a blessing to be able to play basketball. So
it's probably the reason you stay in there too. You know, like, there's a lot of people who get buckets. I tell people all the time, the best scorers probably you know, is at the top of
Yeah.
the league, but there's a lot of dudes who go overseas that
For
don't
sure.
have that knack to be a good teammate, to be
Yeah.
a good basketball player. And, you know, you could just see through your career, which we're going to get to.
Yeah.
But you speaking about that is show, you know, through college you did it, and
Yeah.
then in the NBA now, you know, you've seen where you were playing 30 minutes a game and you can
Yeah.
average a lot of points. You can do that.
Yeah.
But also you could fit a role and play
sure.
where the team needs you. But
Yeah.
I think kids need to learn that and see
For
that.
sure. Understanding your role is probably a big thing playing basketball and getting to different levels. For me, obviously getting to the league at first, you want your role to be a certain thing, but you can't always dictate what that is. You can always get better at every aspect of your game and just be ready for the opportunity, but you still have to be a star in your role. So,
Man, you need to write a book, man. No,
I leave that
seriously.
for my parents.
You have this maturity and wisdom about you. You know, even though, you know, you're older and you've been through all this, but
Yeah.
you still find other players who are older and vets that don't have this wisdom and understanding
sure.
of not just basketball but life, man. You get it. You get it. So that's awesome.
Try
man.
to, man. I try. A lot of years, man. I'm
Right.
26 now, a lot of years.
Woo! Man, so you've been playing for 24 years, low key. Like, man, you've been playing longer. That's probably longer than me. I didn't start playing until I was 11. Yeah, we've been playing basketball the same amount of years almost.
That's
And
crazy.
I'm that much older than you,
My
but
son's already shooting hoops and stuff. Loves basketball. He loves all the sports, but
how old is he now?
he just turned 2 in May, so
And he's already shooting.
yeah, he's shooting.
My son does this with the ball. That's it. And he just let it fall. You can catch
He'll
it though.
get
Yeah, no, exactly. Everybody with their own time. I'm waiting to get my Sean Holiday on one day.
For sure.
Just get in this gym. But
Yeah.
no, that's man, that's so dope. I really appreciate it. I saw it when, you know, I was there as a coach, but also just watching all your games after that. Man, your parents just kind of allowed you to play during the games. They weren't screaming from the stands. They weren't giving you commands.
Y'all just didn't hear my dad.
Okay, I didn't hear him
I
either.
heard
So,
him.
oh,
I
okay.
heard him, but y'all just didn't hear him.
But he wasn't like a, you know,
Yeah.
there's parents in the crowd that you can see are like, just like, yo, chill out. He may give you some advice or some basketball stuff, but they weren't like overly aggressive during the game about, you know, do you think that helped you? Or did you block them out, or what was that like?
It was kind of a thing like you just understood what they were saying. You could look at them and just understand what they're trying to say, and like communicating without really talking, I guess you can say. But yeah, it helped me out for sure. It helps you grow. Usually when I'm locked in, but obviously I can hear it's weird. I can hear my parents, like my dad or whatever the case may be, my mom, like you could just hear them. But
Right.
for the most part, it helped. I was able to make my own mistakes and learn from them. They said their piece when they felt the time was needed, but for the most part, I was able to just learn and grow. So it helped me out for sure.
Yeah, no, I think that's so important for kids to understand that, to either, hey, your parents may do that, that's up to them, but to be able to understand why they're doing it. And I think there's an advantage when parents played basketball.
Exactly,
They're probably giving you the right information.
Exactly.
If your dad never played and he is an accountant and he don't know nothing about basketball, you should probably just be like respecting it. Yes, Dad, I hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, eat the fish, spit out the bones.
For sure.
You know, and so I think that's important for people to hear and see, but also that someone whose kids all had success in the sport of basketball, how they weren't overly aggressive. That's for these parents out here who are trying to imitate someone like a LeVar Ball, who's very outspoken. LeVar did it. Hey, his kids are in the league.
His kids is
Right.
pretty much, they were all pretty much superstars at a young age. So
Right, and don't knock it.
yeah.
But there's other routes to it. I
Yeah, for
always
sure.
talk about that. Me and my friend always have this conversation. He's a LeVar Ball fanatic, and I'm like, man, I'm a Sean Holiday fanatic, man. He got 3 kids in the league, and your sister probably went with him to the Dub.
For sure.
You know, if you know things were different, and
Exactly. She
it's
for
like,
sure would,
you know, it's like, man, he did it a little bit different. And is there? So now that you know you've been through it, now you have a son. What's your expectation for him, and you know, growing up playing other sports and all that?
Yeah.
And what do you think you're going to be like as a dad with that?
I haven't really thought about it. Right now, I'm focused on obviously my career, but obviously spending time with him, my family.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't really care if he played basketball or not. I just want him to enjoy life. Obviously, I know he's going to be some type of athlete, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really going to force it upon him. But I just want him to enjoy life. Like he's into golfing, playing tennis,
Wow.
basketball, soccer. So he likes to do everything, and I just want to be able to lay it all out for him and him choose what he wants, pretty much.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah,
He's probably going to end up hooping, right? Like he
probably.
might-
But
I'm
we'll
like
see.
this with my son. I'm trying to figure out that balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when my son was born, first thing I said I was like, "Thank you, God."
Yes.
10 fingers, 10 toes. Like
Yeah.
I'm so
Healthy,
blessed.
Yeah.
And the second thing, and I couldn't help it, it's just the truth. I was like, I want him to be an all-star point guard in the NBA. It's really my heart's desire
Yeah.
for him, but I know
sure.
that he has to love it. I know that, he has to want to do the work, and I
Yeah.
have to give him the resources and
Exactly.
do that. But at the same time, if he doesn't, I have to be okay, which I am. I've
Yeah.
accepted that, hey, one day he may not hoop.
Yeah.
But man, that hooper in me is like, you just feel it.
Yeah,
you
you
just
do.
feel it.
Yeah.
So do you have that feeling as well?
Like when I get out there and play with him, obviously he's 2 years old, so it's not like he's gonna be able to shoot over me yet. But I block his shot every once in a while. But I mean, yeah, you do get that feeling where you're like, man, you want to be a hooper, but at the end of the day, he can make the decision himself. So
Yeah.
and I'll be all right either way.
Absolutely. So let's we're gonna come back around. We kind of got off topic, but
Yeah.
hey, we dads. That's what we do. Going into college, so high school career, pretty successful high school career.
Yeah.
Made some deep playoff runs. Your junior and senior year. UCLA. Was that the school of your dreams? Was that how did your college recruitment go?
Yeah.
And why did you choose UCLA at the time?
Honestly, I didn't really care where I went. I was just looking to go somewhere. East Coast, West Coast, it didn't matter. But it came down to USC and UCLA. Those were my last two schools that I took my officials on, and the last two schools I really obviously wanted to go to. So yeah, we just got up. I had my official visit at UCLA, and that was pretty much it. I loved the campus. Everything was just beautiful up there. Obviously, the basketball program is elite. Like, it's not many schools like UCLA. And yeah, that just did it for me, the official. So.
Did Drew push you at all to say, hey,
No,
not
he
at all?
didn't. No, my sister was up there too. She
That's right.
was at UCLA, 2 years before I got there. So her junior year was my freshman year. So I was able to hang out with her a lot too. But yeah, he didn't pressure me. Justin didn't pressure me to go to Washington, but it just sort of happened.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's dope, and it's cool because you got a home team crowd right by you. Like
Yeah,
I remember
for sure.
just wanting to go to games because you were playing. So it's just like I know that's always cool playing in the hometown.
For sure.
What was the biggest learning adjustment you had to make going from high school into college?
Biggest adjustment I had to make was just learning to slow down, play with pace. In high school, you're able just to go full speed and just get to wherever you want. Now there's guys taller than you, more athletic, obviously more physical. So that adjustment of slowing down, playing at your own pace, and really understanding, like I got to get to my spots and use different angles. Because obviously, I'm 6 feet, get blocked easily at the rim. So using different angles and your athleticism, and sometimes just settling for the three and just knocking it down. But just understanding the game at a higher level, I think that's what helped me the most.
Yeah, and so you went from starting every game your freshman year in college to your sophomore year coming off the bench. What was that like? And what was your emotions and feelings going through that experience?
It was tough, angry, honestly. Like I just started my entire freshman year. Didn't have the best of year, but it was my freshman year, so it was what it was. Then coming back, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get more prepared, and then. Who do we have? Lonzo, I think TJ, EK. I think them three came in, and my coach came to me and was like, yeah, you're going to be coming off the bench. And I thought it would be up for, like, discussion, like, through practicing and all that. But he might have said it, but he knew who he was going to play already. And that happens. I mean, there's times you can't really dictate the outcome, but you just have to figure out how to persevere through it. And And so many people were telling me I should transfer, I should do this, I should do that. And I'm like, for what? I feel like I should be here. So that was my main mindset. I feel like I should be here. I know I should be here. So I'm going to just take the role I have and go out there and hoop. And my second year, I had probably one of them, obviously better than my first year, but pretty good year coming off the bench.
Yeah.
I think I averaged like 12 points or something.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 12 and 3. Yep.
Yeah, so it was, honestly, it was tough. I was obviously angry, and that probably fueled me to be the player I was that next year. But at the end of the day, you got to roll with the punches and adjust and figure out ways you can be better and help your team.
I got to know what those practices were like when you were on the second team,
Yeah.
playing against them, knowing that you have the ability to start.
Sure.
How competitive was it?
Well, for me, it was very competitive. Obviously, whoever was in front of me, that's who I was going at. So we had Lonzo, Bryce, Isaac, all of them. So I was just doing my best to obviously prepare myself for the season, but also show that I'm meant to be here. And I picked up full court and just continue to try to put pressure on them. And that's going to help them get better as well, not only me. So it was a collective effort, but obviously we had a pretty good team that year. And we got to second in the nation at one point. So it was a pretty good team. But yeah, for me, I was just trying to go at everybody.
No, that's awesome. And how did you keep the relationships with your teammates, even though you felt like, hey,
For sure.
I should be starting? What is that like if somebody's struggling with that now, whether they're in high school, because it happens now, these kids think they're in college and transfer, but somebody who's in college who's maybe going through the same thing. How did you keep that relationship clean with your teammates during that time?
I mean, I don't feel like it's my teammates' fault that happened. It's the coach's decision. No matter what, it comes down to the coaches. Like players, I can go to a coach and be like, yo, I'm better than him. Why am I not playing? But at the end of the day, the coach is going to make a decision that he feels is best for himself and the team. So I didn't really take it out on my teammates, like especially off the court. Like we were all cool and just, hung out, spoke in the locker room, whatever the case may be. But I think that part is obviously important because a lot of guys will be mad at this player or that player just because they were put over them. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're better than you.
Right.
It's just the time and place that you're at right now, and you just got to get better and improve yourself. But I think being connected with your teammates off the court is pretty important.
Yeah. No, I think it reflected in that next year, your junior year, where you averaged 20, and had that opportunity to show with, Lonzo leaving,
TJ was out,
leaving.
EK left too.
Yep. And so
I think Jonah left. Was Jonah there my sophomore year? Jonah Bolin was there
sophomore
year, I think. He was out too.
Yeah.
So.
And then you had a new bunch come in. Who came in your junior year? Was that
I don't know if Jay Hands was there. He was there
Jay
my
Hands.
Junior year.
Yeah.
Jay Hands, Chris Wilkes.
Yeah.
Who else came in? I think those were the two main guys that played.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think that was it.
Those were the big name recruits at least.
Yeah.
And
McDonald's All-Americans. I think both of them were McDonald's All-Americans.
Yep.
So yeah, those two for sure.
Yeah, and then you got the ball in your hands and being able to do your thing. And like you said, man, I think that sophomore year you took the step defensively, right, showing what you can do and impact the game that way, and it carried over to the opportunity on the offensive end as well. Just explain your junior year and your mindset going into it. And did you think you were going to be ready for the NBA after that year?
For sure. I thought I was ready for the NBA after my second year, honestly. But just tested the waters and obviously heard from the coaches and teams and everything in the NBA and decided to go back for my third year and just get ranked higher and build my stock pretty much. And it ended up working out. I just went back and pretty much told myself I just need to get better and prove that I'm an NBA player to the executives and the presidents and stuff in the NBA. And I'm glad and blessed that I was able to do that. I was just honestly in the mindset of just going in there and just killing. Whether that's scoring, getting my teammates involved, playing defense, just trying to put everything together. And I was able to do that my third year.
Yeah, heck of a year. And then going into the draft, so having two brothers who were in the NBA at the time, were they given, how did that make an impact on you going through that your last year in college and even like the pre-draft process, testing the water process?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I actually used my brother's agent when I was testing the waters, which was pretty cool, just like to understand how everything went and how agents are. Glushan, he really did a good job of explaining everything to me. Obviously, he's a really good agent now. But yeah, they didn't say too much. It was kind of just me learning the process on my own. Like, I mean, they could tell me so much, but I'm gonna have to go through it eventually. That's what I always tell people. Like, my brothers could say so much, but you're still gonna have to go through it. And what they can say, it might be different from what you experience. So,
right.
It was good to have them around, being able to have somebody to talk to, and obviously, kind of give me the ropes of the league. But I still felt like I had to go through it myself to really figure it out.
Absolutely. And do you remember any of your pre-draft workouts? I tell these people, when you go to a pre-draft workout, man, some of these teams, you go through the ringer. Like,
I had about 14, I think.
Woo!
I worked out for, I think, about half the league. Yeah. But I mean, Boston.
And that's in like a, 3-week span?
Yeah, it might be like a month, 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. But Boston, they had the 3-minute drill. Phoenix had a 3-minute drill. I did my...
Explain the 3-minute drill for the...
Okay, so pretty much you run from sideline to sideline or baseline to baseline for 3 minutes straight and just get out how many ever touches you can get within that 3 minutes. So,
man,
I know in Houston or in Phoenix, I think I tied the record for the 3-minute drill. And I think I had a pretty good workout in Phoenix both times. I went back for a second time. I remember the Boston workout just being crazy. Like, I think that was one of my first workouts, and had to get into the 3-minute drill. I'm like, man, this is tough. But like, yeah, most of them I kind of remember the Clippers one because I had a good workout for the Clippers. But
did you work out for Indiana?
No.
I see, and they're the ones who drafted you.
They're the ones who drafted me. Yeah, it's crazy how it works. But
yeah.
I guess that's usually how it works. I don't know. But.
No, absolutely. So working in the pre-draft, literally the teams don't want people to know that they're interested in you. So they won't work you out there, watch you from the distance, call their homie and be like, hey, how does it work out for you? And we're not going to work this guy out, but secretly eyeing you for what they want. And so...
I didn't know that going into it, bro. I didn't.
Right.
All I knew was they calling everybody from my high school asking about me. That's all I like. Why are they doing that? But,
let the people know. Yeah. This is what I tell these kids all the time because I'm dealing with middle schoolers who are pretty good at this point. And so I'm telling them that they call me. They literally called me. So they called who from high school?
I remember they talked to mom. I think said to talk to Coach V about me. I believe they talked to a few teachers, just people around. And they might have talked to the janitor maybe or people working there, but yeah, they talked to everybody.
Playing.
It's crazy. I didn't know
playing.
That. Yeah, I didn't know that. I'm like, why are they calling everybody? But they want to know how you are around people that you might not know or people that just work around you. They just want to see if you're a good person or not, I guess. So.
Yeah. No, they're testing your character. And how you treat one person is really important, especially like you said, the gender and those types of people. And so, man, the kids think I'm joking when I say that stuff. So I love that you said it so they can hear.
I thought you was joking too, but
right.
I went through it, so I understand now.
Absolutely. Yeah. Draft night. So what's it like on a draft night? Did you know you were going to get drafted?
Yeah, I knew I was going to get drafted.
How soon before the draft?
I mean, I knew I was going to get drafted going through the process.
Got it, okay.
Well, I guess it's just me thinking that.
Okay, so you have the confidence that you're going to get drafted. Oh, you didn't have like a draft promise?
No, so, I mean, there are a few teams that said they were going to pick me earlier, but it didn't happen, so it is what it is. But, I mean, I felt like I was there. I was going to get drafted for sure. I could have went probably as high as like 15 or 16 up in that area, and I think my low would have been late first round, maybe early second. But I knew I was going to get drafted. I felt like I was good enough, and I had a good enough last year at UCLA to get drafted in the first round. So I just had confidence in myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then hearing your name called, what's that feeling like?
It's awesome. It's just something you dream about. Obviously, you play basketball outside, and you're obviously counting down like from 3, 2, 1, and all those moments, like you just feel like they come true, you know, after you hear your name get drafted at the NBA draft. So it was pretty cool. And my brothers were there, my sister, and my parents. It was just a great time, you know.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. I remember watching you play pickup games when Penberthy used to rent out the gym back in the day. He used to rent out Heritage, right? Man, I think it was during your sophomore year, I believe. And you were giving everybody buckets. And I'm talking like the Reggie Jacksons, Paul George, like all these cats was in the gym,
Mm-hmm.
and you were just giving people relentless buckets
For sure.
as a sophomore. Was that like what kind of confidence do you have to go against these cats?
Yeah.
Like where's the mindset at for you to not have that fear of, you know, dudes who are already in the NBA? Where is that coming
I mean,
from?
I just feel like at the end of the day, it's basketball. Like, no matter what your age is, if you're good at basketball, it's going to show. So just being confident in my craft, and obviously my parents did a good job of instilling that in me at a very young age. But obviously playing against my brothers and my sister outside, that builds your confidence. Like, they're not easy people or players to go against.
Mm-hmm.
Even my sister was aggressive too. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if I can go against them, I feel like I could pretty much go against anybody. So,
How long did it take for you to finally beat Lauren?
I don't remember.
Did you ever? Is the question.
Yeah, I beat her for sure. I used to play against them in high school, her team. And I used to beat them then too, but yeah, I don't remember when exactly I started beating her, but it was a long time for sure.
Gotcha.
It took me a minute to get there, but
Now, going into the league, you're in Indiana. What's Indiana like?
it's different from California. I'll tell
Yeah.
you that. Different from LA. It's a quiet city. It's slow. It's a basketball city for sure, but
Yeah,
the fans, they're energetic. They come to every game. They pack the house. So
that's dope.
yeah, it's a great basketball city. Had to adjust to the snow. I was driving my brother's Challenger in my first year, and I had to adjust to it.
You put chains on the tires and all
no,
that?
I didn't know. So
You
I
was slipping and sliding?
I was driving, fishtail and everything.
Oh,
So
boy.
eventually I figured it out though, and I just got a bigger car. But yeah, it was a great city. I enjoyed my time in Indiana for sure.
Who were your coaches in Indiana?
I had Nate McMillan and Nate Bjorken, and then Rick got there as I got traded. So he got there like a few weeks before I got traded. So
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And then what was your experience like when so you played for him in Atlanta as well?
Mhm,
Okay, so you guys have a pretty good relationship then
Yeah,
from a coaching
solid, yeah.
perspective. What is different from the NBA coaches compared to the college coaches? What's that experience like?
College, they're able to do and say, like, get on you however they want to, however they please. In NBA, it's harder for them to do that because of, like, the players they have around them. They're so talented, and I don't know if money plays a part, but it's just different how a coach can, like, I think, get on you.
Yeah.
There are some coaches that still are able to do that and get on NBA players, but I think that aspect is different because in college, they'll just go at you, I feel like.
Right.
And you really can't do nothing. Not saying you can do something in the NBA, but it's like I just feel like that aspect is a lot different.
A little like grown man respect
Yeah,
kind of thing,
exactly.
and versus
like now I'm grown. Yeah, type. Yeah.
yeah.
for
What was the biggest adjustment from college to the NBA in
Mm-hmm.
the style of your game?
I don't know. I feel like obviously they're a lot bigger and stronger and more athletic. Everybody's good at this level. I think the biggest part I had to get better at was, which I still am, obviously, being a smaller guard, is getting into the paint, finishing over guys, even though I'm pretty athletic. Just understanding when to go and when not to, and just running your team. Like, getting into the NBA, obviously, I said before, like, I wanted to be somebody I dreamed of, obviously, getting there and doing everything that I've always wanted to do. But, like, eventually, you just can't be that person right now. So you have to try to adjust your game and obviously fit in with your teammates and understand the system. So that part was probably like the toughest, is understanding like, okay, I know I want to get here and I'm still going to fight to get here, but right now that's just not it. So I got to take a couple steps back, really read and understand the game at a higher level, and eventually we'll be able to get up to that level that I want to be at.
Absolutely, man. That's good. You had to actually read, like, and learn system. Studying still,
for
it's
sure.
a job, and I think a lot of kids don't understand that because I tell kids, find what you're really, really good at and master that craft, right? Master what you're really good at. Doesn't mean you don't stop improving the rest of your game.
Yeah.
But if you master what you're good at, then you define a role for yourself, and then keep working and working and working, and then all of a sudden you Jeremy Grant with a max deal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like those
exactly.
opportunities come because of your work. I love Justin's story. You know, overseas for some years, and
He went through it for sure.
Had to develop a 3-point shot pretty much that gave him a calling card into the league and hasn't left since.
Yeah.
It's just like those things happen.
They do.
That's what it is. What are you doing now to develop your game? You work with Shay. You have a little time in the gym with Chris Johnson this off season. As you go throughout these years, your development phases, is there anything that you're adding specifically to your regimen as well as your skill set? What's the plan?
Right now, just obviously touching everything on offense. Don't play much defense in the summertime. I said that for this season, but I mean, just understanding angles. Obviously, with Chris, he does a good job of teaching angles and using the glass. And dealing with Shay, it's more so using angles to get baseline. So like working on gnashing, if people know that term, just keeping your dribble on the baseline and seeing what you have, the reverse, the one dribble pull up as you come around, or just pretty much just go a circle all the way around and get back to the other side. So it's just different things I'm working on, playing with pace, working on my ball handling, shooting. Obviously, those are non-negotiables, but really understanding the angles of basketball and how I can use my body. With Shay, I'm working on just using my body a lot more. I'm pretty strong, so I know I can obviously do that, and we've been working on it a couple of years, and I've gotten better, but just understanding like when to use your body, how to use your body, and obviously using your like couple more dribbles before shooting, like coming off and pick and roll, like just keeping your dribble a little bit longer, or maybe you just got to get off of it quick, but just understanding the difference of a guy in a drop or up and how to get around him. So just, I'm going on and on.
No, it's good. You talking basketball. I love it because kids need to understand that it's not about just being able to do a crossover and hit a shot. You're understanding reads, you're understanding movements, the terminology that you use, that there's a study to this game that takes your game to another level, man. It's good to hear you even speak like that. So listen, Aaron's always been strong, okay? He ain't, that just didn't happen. In high school, they used to, Coach Blunt used to make me guard this man in practice as a grown man because he was killing high schoolers. And that was the only thing that could remotely get in his way, and so he used to I used to lock him up in my opinion. He got buckets here and there, but that was when he was 16. But anywho, no, I think that's awesome from just a maturity and growth standpoint. You're still learning. You've been in the league for 5 years, going to your 6th year, and you're still learning and growing and working on the fundamentals. Like you said, dribbling and shooting is non-negotiable. Playing
off two as well. I got to throw that in there.
Yep, playing off
Being a smaller guard, you got to be able to play off two. Just throws off shot blocking, and you'll be able to have more stability, stop, turn, spin, and get out of just tough situations. So
no, you're definitely a 1-foot jumper because
for sure I still am, but I gotta tell myself sometimes it's all right to stay on 2 feet.
Yeah, absolutely. Was that something that's just natural for you, or were you taught to jump off of 1 foot?
I think it was just natural. I mean, me being like the height I am, obviously I'm pretty athletic off one, so I guess I just lean toward that, and I can get my shot off, and I can jump pretty quick. So I guess I just.
How'd you become athletic?
I don't know, probably just from my parents.
I mean, so y'all never y'all wasn't in the weight room or
I didn't
running
lift
hills,
that much.
resistance?
Okay,
run. What kind of running?
My dad, over by our house, there's like this little hill that he still runs to this day, but we used to run that a few times a week with my dad. He used to get out there and run with us, but other than that, I didn't really start lifting until probably closer to high school. I didn't, like, all throughout junior high, I wasn't really lifting, but I think once I got freshman year, I started to lift more and more. But yeah, I guess it was all just thank my parents, and obviously God blessed me with what I have right now. So
awesome. So NBA games, what is something that us spectators are watching that you experience in the game that is like, man, this is unreal?
Just the talent level. Obviously, I don't think the fans know how talented like every player in the NBA is. Like, they only see what they kind of are able to show at the time, but they don't understand how talented it is. Like, there's games or practices even like where there's guys who are 15 on the bench that are like cooking.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the people outside that don't understand outside the practice don't see that, but they only see him miss a couple shots here and there and like, oh, but yeah, there's really, really like unbelievable talent, like 1 through 15. And that's probably something that most people outside the NBA don't know.
What is your most memorable game in the NBA so far?
Oh, memorable game. I mean, playing against my brothers are always like my favorite games to play in. I think the first time we beat Drew, like me and Justin together, I think the first time we beat him was in Atlanta when we played for Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that was the only time. But even playing against Justin when he was in Memphis or other teams he was with, like those are probably my most memorable times because it's just fun and like you get to just have fun with your brother again, you know?
That's history, man. I don't think there's ever been 3 brothers playing on the same court at the same time.
Yeah, I think in New Orleans, that was the first time we did it. So
yeah, that's
that was
so
pretty
dope.
cool.
And so you've been on with Justin 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
One in Indiana for a year? Or,
a year or 2.
Yeah, 2?
A year or 2 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a year or 2, and then
in Atlanta this past year.
half a year in Atlanta, yeah.
Okay, half a year,
He
man.
traded. He went to, I think, Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And then ended up in Dallas, but yeah, half a year.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's so
it's
crazy.
a blessing, man. I don't take that for granted for sure.
Yeah.
It's like it sucks when you're with your brother the whole year and then halfway through you just leave and it's like, okay, well.
Right.
But again, our team was pretty well connected, so it wasn't too bad of an adjustment for me, but it just kind of stinks like, I can't go to work with my brother every day, but everything worked out.
What's a misconception about a player that you've played with that you think people should know?
I mean, Russell Westbrook is obviously very talented, but he's also a great person.
Yeah.
I haven't really played on the same team as him, but I've spoke to him a couple times just playing against him and stuff, and he's a great human. Been to D.C. the year after he left, and they spoke very highly of him, how good of a teammate he is on the court and off the court. Like, he just wants to win, and I think people just only see the side of him that's always wanting to win, which isn't bad. Like, everybody wants to win, but he's pushing his teammates to do better. So I think that's one player that I know for sure that people kind of hate on. But
yeah, no, I mean, I see him from the distance. I haven't met. I met Russell once. I was rebounding for him, and you know, kind of like a what's up thing. But it was just how he treats his AAU team and the stuff that people say about him. Yeah. He was one of my favorite players
for sure,
all times. Like, just he does everything. He plays the game with passion and aggression. Like there's no doubt that this man loves basketball, regardless of what. Forget all the other stuff. I think there is something that happens when you come to LA.
Yeah,
one,
for sure.
That there's an expectation of, oh, you got to be good, and that takes a hit. When you come to the Lakers, let me say specifically, you come to the Lakers, you are under a microscope.
For sure.
And the media feeds into that. And I think that's a terrible thing. Yeah. When a dude, he's a good dude. He ain't done no wrong. Like, that's it. And so, where's your favorite place to play?
My favorite place has always been Staples Center or Crypto now.
Yeah, yeah.
Just love coming back home and playing against the Lakers. They were my team growing up. And yeah, it's just awesome. Just get out there. The lights are just different in Staples Center or Crypto Arena.
We call it Staples. I still call it Staples Center. I don't care what nobody say.
The lights just hit different, man. It's weird. I don't know what about it, but it's just awesome to be back home and playing. Yeah,
they say like the lights are set where it's like literally just on the court and everything's blacked out. So
it's pretty cool.
There's this that feeling. So traveling from, you've been to 3-4 different teams now. What is that like with the family? You know, now that you got a son, you have a wife. What's that balance like for a player?
Yeah, so I have 3 kids now. My stepdaughter's 6; she'll be 7 soon. My son Jackson just turned 2 in May, and then my son Bodie is about 9 or 10 months now. So.
Oh, okay. You got 3. Oh man, you got a family. Okay.
Yeah, so it's tough. I mean, my wife does a great job of obviously taking care of all that and getting us moved when I just can focus on basketball. So that's a great thing about having my wife in my life. She pretty much keeps us all calm and just takes care of everything without complaining or anything like that. But it's been tough, just moving everywhere with your family. Like, obviously you want to stay in one situation where like your kids can just grow up there and just be happy, but hasn't been the case. We're still working on that, and I feel like I can get there eventually. But just for my kids' sake, I would rather them just be in one spot, and I'm able just to be there and just grow community for them and with them. But I think we can. Obviously, I just said we can get there eventually, so that's what we're working towards.
That's dope. Is there? Is he, old enough and not running everywhere where he can come to practice and
getting
kind
there.
of? Okay.
So he comes on my workouts now.
Nice.
Usually my late night workouts, I work out like 2 days, maybe Monday and Thursday. So he'll come to both of those and have his little court and shoot and just have fun, and that obviously, like, as a parent and a basketball player, that's just like a dream to have your kid come to your workouts and be able to enjoy himself and play. And there's times where he sits there and watches me work out, and those are also times where very enjoyable for me as a father, like just paving the way and just showing him how to work and how to get to where, if he chooses that road, how to get to like that level.
Yeah, no, I think that, I think in professional sports, there's always this, misconception that people aren't family people. Yeah. And I've seen you, like, that's where I saw you. I saw you in the gym with your whole family. Yeah. And I think it's cool for people to hear and see that, hey, man, you have a wife who holds it down. Yeah. And that you're doing everything you can to, give your kids the best experience that you can with everything, with your career. Yeah. And, that I think that's extremely important for people to hear. So, you grew up in a family of faith, right? Yes, how's that impacted, just the decisions you've made and even this journey that you're taking through the NBA?
I mean, it's impacted my entire career of basketball. With that faith, my parents, with the confidence my parents gave me, they also gave me faith, and that pretty much I can go out there and do anything I need to do through God, and with Jesus and God on my side, I can accomplish anything. And that's something that they installed in us very early at a young age, and also I believed it. So that is the reason why I'm here and where I am today. Just obviously trusting God, trusting the process, and knowing that everything's going to work out the way I want it to. And pretty much God's will be done, and that's something I stand by and live by, like, throughout my daily life, throughout my career. And it's just something just to hold myself to that standard and not get too down on myself or try not to get too high when things are good and bad, but just understand God has a plan and he's always working.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
All right, there's a part of our show. It's called the My Rushmore. Okay. Your top 4. We're going to go your top 4 players that you played against in your high school career.
Yeah.
I would do NBA, but no, we ain't going to do that. We ain't going to do that.
Top 4.
Top 4 high school.
Okay. Top 4 NBA, you already got 2 of them that I would say, so that wouldn't be fun. But top 4, obviously playing against Marcus. We used to go to Providence, and those games used to be crazy.
Double OTs, people getting dropped, 38, 40. Oh, man.
Those games was wild. Trey Holder was another one that I remember going against. He went to Brentwood.
That was a game I coached. Do you remember that? Sophomore year?
I don't.
Blunt had to go handle some family business, and I had coached that game. Yeah. We lost by 5. We were up. It got tough. Yeah. And I remember that game, Trey Holder. That was your sophomore year against Trey. But
another player I remember playing against was Christian Juzang from Viewpoint. Those were always tough battles, playing against Viewpoint. Close games, but I don't remember losing to Viewpoint too many times. I don't know if I lost to Viewpoint ever, actually, but we'll have to look that up and see. Yeah. And then DeVereaux Ramsey went to Sierra Canyon. Yeah. He was obviously always fast, quick, just a great basketball player. So those are probably my top 4.
Yeah. Man, I might have, I got one for you. I'm going to stay with Marcus Levette. Just watching those battles with you, crazy. Trey Holder. Trey was a monster. Yeah. I'm adding in Kihei when he was at Buckley.
Yeah.
Remember that playoff
Yeah,
game?
I remember
Y'all
that.
were going
I
at
remember
it.
that.
And that's
At
when
Providence, right?
So if y'all don't know this, man, Aaron Holiday probably had the most fouls not called on him ever. He ain't gonna say it. I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, definitely.
They don't call fouls on this man because of how physical he was, and maybe how quick he was, and maybe even because of his name.
Yeah.
You know, because of the last name. And so when I tell you that if he wasn't scoring, it's probably because he wasn't getting fouled if he was going to the rim. But they did not. They called maybe 20% of the calls.
I know. That's a fact. That's a fact. I do remember that.
It was crazy.
It was wild.
So I'm going to say Kihei. Yeah. Mike wasn't there yet. Mike Meadows was on that team too, but he wasn't there yet. But Kihei was still nice. And then the last one, I'm trying to go back to the Gold Coast. Who else had some dudes then? Yeah, it might be Christian actually. Yeah, Christian Juzang.
He was solid for sure.
Man, Christian could go high school. He was nice, man. Quick, explosive, get to the rim.
Could shoot.
Yeah, he could play. So, no, man, you play against some good players. I'm pretty sure he's even crazier in college. And
we played against the Oregon teams, Kentucky, 3 straight years. Kentucky, that alone is crazy. UW teams I played against, Markel, I think DeJounte too. They had some solid teams.
Yeah.
I think I played, Jaylen Brown at Cal.
Hey.
Yeah, there's some teams I played against in college.
Absolutely.
UNC team that had Joel Berry and who was their big that was cooking us? I can't think of his name.
Joel Berry, North Carolina. What year is this? This is 16?
Yeah, 2016. I think we played him in Brooklyn, at the new arena in Brooklyn. Well, it was new.
Man, I'm trying to think of who
they had Page, the guard Page.
Marcus Page.
Yeah.
Oh, they had somebody good.
They had their big was cooking us.
I'm gonna have to Google it. Can you Google that? We'll get back to that. Yeah, now I want to know who it is. That's dope. All right, where were you when? So a moment in basketball history that impacted you. When it was announced that the NBA was shut down because of COVID.
Man, that was crazy. Like I'm sitting there just looking at the TV. It was when Utah was playing somebody. When Rudy Gobert was coughing on all the mics, that's when obviously it started. And then Drew had a game up in, I believe, Sacramento. And like only 2 people came out on the court and they were like, nah, we're shutting it down. It was just a crazy time. You just didn't think it was real.
Yeah.
And they shut down the whole league. We just packed up, me and my wife and kids packed up, drove from Indiana to California, but
whoa.
It was a crazy time. Like you just didn't know what was happening. You didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
There wasn't that much information about it. So you just try to protect your family and be safe. And then soon after we came back to the bubble, we had like a few weeks, I think, to get back right. And then came back to the bubble in Florida, where Disneyland is, Disney World. And that was crazy. It is a literal bubble. It's not like exactly like a bubble, okay, but it's like every team has their own hotel. There's probably like 2 or 3 hotels, and you had to stay in your room. You had to pretty much eat all the food that's on your campus. So there's a restaurant we used to go to. That was like a 2-minute walk. It wasn't far at all. And then they had food for us every so often in our team dinners, but like you just kind of had to eat like the same thing over and over again. And just being in that space, it wasn't like scary or anything, but it got to a point where it's like, man, I just want to go home and see my family. Our families couldn't come with us. They had to stay back at home. And that was a time where people were like pretty much saying, we're not about to play. We're just going to wait till next season and stuff like that. And like you really think about that. And that was also the Black Lives Matter movement and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Was around that time. So it was a crazy time for sure, but we did it and got through it, and
right.
hopefully it made us better for it.
Yeah. Any crazy stories from the bubble? Funny stories?
No. I mean, just seeing the guys that were out there fishing. I think Ben was fishing and Luca and all them, but no crazy stories. There were some crazy games. TJ had like a few 50-piece.
Yeah, that was crazy.
50-piece games. Those were pretty cool. And
So do you think the basketball was higher level in the bubble?
I don't know. I don't feel like it because I enjoy like the fans and like going into opposing arenas and just the hostility of it. It was weird just sitting there and like there you just see all these faces around, and then there's like just they turn up the crowd noise, and it was just weird. But they did do a good job of kind of making it normal. Like they could have turned the crowd noise up a little bit more, but they did a good job of trying to keep it the same.
Okay. Yeah. Now I know you're playing. It's almost like you're practicing, but in an arena, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like just to not see anything and
just all the seats were pretty much stacked. I don't know. I don't think they were 5 feet apart, but keeping the distance, the right distance that they had, we had to go by, and it was just weird. Like you just look over the sideline, there's just your basketball teammates, and then nothing on the other side. They put like sponsors and stuff. Like,
right.
They
the board, they had a little
up.
board or something behind it.
It was weird. It was a weird time, but I'm glad we got through it.
Yeah. No, I think that was tough for everybody. So, and that, like you said, your fam, like you stuck with a bunch of dudes. Like
my brother Justin was on my team then too, so that helped. But
okay, yeah.
Drew went to the bubble as well, but other than that, it was tough.
Gotcha. I'm glad you got through it.
Yeah.
All right, this is the part of the show where we flip the script.
Okay.
2 questions for me about anything.
Oh, let me think about it. Would you ever want to coach in college or in the NBA?
I've had the high school question. College or the NBA? So more recently, I've thought about coaching in college, at the low level of college though.
Yeah.
I do not want the lifestyle that comes with being a Division I college coach. You are out on the road recruiting, and I'm a family man. I got to see my kids. I got to see my wife.
For sure.
I hate leaving for a weekend. You know, like literally on my way here, my daughter is crying because I'm leaving the house. I'm gonna be back in 3 hours. Like, be back. And like that stuff just kills me because I'm a family man. So I thought about the lower levels, you know, like a Division III where you can't do anything between March and August in college or Division III, you know, like where it's more, I know exactly what it is. NBA, I don't want to, but I'm open to it, if that makes sense. Like I don't see myself doing it, but if there's something like, I'm going to get in coaching in the next few years once my kids are old enough and I have that time.
Yeah.
And so if it leads to that, I'm open to it. I'm not, you know, coaching at the highest level is awesome. Like I'm all about getting better.
For sure.
So yeah, I'm open to college at a lower level, way lower level, and then open to the NBA if I get that good, why not?
Yeah, it's all about opportunity, honestly. What would my next question be? Let's see. What was your favorite moment when you coached me in high school?
Oh, it's easy.
Did you go to Mission? Did you go to Mission Prep with us too?
Yeah, I was at Mission Prep.
Everywhere.
Yeah, I was at Mission Prep.
Remember
we ran in the parking lot because Colin wanted to act a fool.
Yeah.
Shout out to Colin, who I think he's coaching LSU now, or where was he?
I think he was at LSU.
Yeah, he was at LSU last year. But my favorite moment easily was the Providence game.
Yeah.
Easily. It was the
crazy.
Energy, the back and forth. Pulled out the win at the end. You fouled out in the second overtime or first overtime or something like that, but you got 38, 46, one or two. And the back and forth of the game, and you were just answering everything that Marcus had. You was coming with something, but he was still laying fools out and getting his buckets.
He was.
That was just like I'm like, this is what high school basketball is about. Y'all just playing y'all best. I don't even know if we call plays anymore. Like it was just like, hey, go hoop.
Yeah.
I love those moments of just go hoop. And when the kids that you're with in the gym every day show up and show out, and then your best player goes down, you know, fouls out, and they stepped up and won.
Yeah.
Like, man, that's what I'm talking about. So
for
sure, that was my best time. That was amazing. There was one more question. It's the same question that came earlier, and it came and left again. It's about basketball. It's about a moment. Dang it, man, the thing keeps flowing away. Maybe I'm not meant to ask you. I'll have to ask another time.
You got some time?
For sure. All right, you got a 24-second shot clock. Look in that camera there. Tell the people whatever you want to tell them. Encourage, inspire.
Well, basketball and life related. Continue to push forward. There's a lot of obviously obstacles that we go through in life, and we're not always ready for them, but we obviously have to keep going. The world is going to continue, and we got to keep pushing forward. Talk to somebody if you need help, if you're struggling. Obviously, reach out, and you pretty much could talk to a mental health person or try to get a friend or just somebody you're close to really be able to express yourself and express how you feel. And it's okay to feel that way. But we still have to keep in mind that we're trying to reach a certain goal or get to a certain level or get to a certain place. So it's okay to feel that way, but we have to figure out ways to overcome that and get through it. So my way is obviously I have a wife that I talk to, I have a mental health person that I talk to, and God I talk to as well. So my religion is one thing that really helps me and pushes me through certain situations and tough situations. So I don't know how that is for you guys, but just try to find somebody and speak with somebody and just keep fighting. Yeah.
I want to hop in this. Now it came back to me because you triggered it actually. All right. So mental health in the NBA is is something that's of importance that we're talking about more and more. You speak with somebody for your mental health. You know, when did that start?
Man, mental health issues, like just having mental health problems. I wouldn't say problems because I don't feel like they are that big of a deal, but for me, they're not. So like just throughout my career, getting to college, not knowing what to expect. You're pretty much alone now. Yeah, I have my sister there, but I'm going through it pretty much alone, and you kind of feel that a lot. Just going from school, classes, basketball, flying here, flying there, having good games, bad games. The fans from UCLA and everywhere else able to watch you, talk about you, and you can't really do nothing about it, and that part was tough for me. I'm a guy who obviously is built off of pretty much if you say I can't do something, I'm going to go show you that I can. And it gets heavy to where you obviously want to show everybody what you can do, but you're kind of giving up your mental health for that, like if that makes sense. Like I'm sitting here trying to focus on what he said about me and he said about me, and I'm not focusing on like me being okay with who I am. And once I understood that, it helped me a lot more. But even when I got to the NBA, it was tough because again, you're on your own. I'm in a whole different state, like in Indiana. Like I never thought I would be here. It's snowing and stuff, and you're not playing the minutes you want to play. You're good enough, but how do I prove myself to them? And like I feel like personally, I got in the mindset of I need to prove myself to them instead of just proving myself right, kind of like not really focusing on them, but focusing on me and trying to get better each and every day. You have to find a joy within your job and life to really keep pushing on, and that's something I really figured out in Indiana. Like basketball isn't everything; it's just a sport we play. Like honestly, it really means nothing. And if you really think about it, like what means something obviously to me is my religion, my family, my kids, and just making sure they're okay and healthy. So I've been going through that since college, high school, got to the NBA, and then my last year in Atlanta, I finally decided to talk to somebody. And he's just been there talking me through it, coaching me up, and helped me understand me and myself, getting better at how I get over bad games, or how I deal with bad games, or how I'm with good games, and how I am around my family, like just different things, nitpicking at everything and understanding like how I can be better and how I can pretty much help myself get to that person that I want to be in life. So
that's dope. Thanks for sharing with that, man. I think it's important to see that, especially as Black men, that, it's okay to see somebody and talk about what's going on in your head. And like you said, we thank God that you're not suffering from something extreme, but it is something. Regardless, it is your mental health we're talking about, and it's about it being healthy and having that space to talk about it, whether there's a huge issue or a small issue. And we always want to encourage the community to go out there and, man, just talk to somebody.
Exactly. You got to deal with it before it becomes a bigger problem too. So you don't just keep going down that road. You gotta at least at one point face the fact that, good or bad, you got to face it and figure out how you're going to deal with it, and then go from there.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.